afternoon from the kitchen, folks. In this film today, I'm going to be turning some rancid homebrew wine that I've made, and I mean truly rancid homebrew wine that I've made, into hopefully some delicious whiskey using this Still Spirits whiskey flavouring. This is Shamrock Whiskey. It makes 2.25 litres of whiskey, and I'm going to be doing so using the Air Still Pro. So every now and again, every home brewer makes a stinker. I think this is my third stinker of a batch for 2023, probably out of about 15 batches. So not a brilliant statistic, but not bad either. So it means that most of my batches are pretty good, but 3 of them this year just haven't been up to standard. This being one of them. This is banana, apple and hops wine, and it is rank. So it's going in the Air Still. When I say the Air Still, it's an Air Still Pro, and this has been loaned to me by those wonderful fellas at brewathome.shop. So thank you once again for the loan of this Air Still Pro. Continued loan. You'll be getting it back one day, I promise you. But I'm just going to get my wine into the Air Still drum before proceeding. So fortunately, this batch of rather rank wine has come in at a reasonable ABV. It's come in at 13.3%, so it's not much different to a tomato paste wash, which I normally make to about 15%. Right, I'll just get this last bottle in for now. So I put 5 700ml bottles in the Air Still Pro, so that's 3.5 litres, so I'm half a litre under the capacity. Now, I expect this to output at about 89%, just shy of 90%, and I'm probably going to get round about 600ml, or maybe slightly less, maybe 550ml of 80, 90, 90% spirit out of the Air Still Pro. That's my hopes anyway. Okay, this is the reflux column for the Air Still Pro, and I'm just going to get this on top. I need to line up the electricals at the bottom. I'm not sure if they're in frame or not, but it's basically like an old PC cable, the kettle cable. That needs to go in the bottom there. And then I need to press down to make sure that this is tightly vacuum sealed. Okay, now I would normally have put some distilling conditioner in there to prevent boil over. I've never had any boil over yet, fingers crossed, and I'm hoping I won't today because I've run out of distilling conditioner. So let's just keep those fingers very, very crossed. Right, I need to turn this round. Now you'll see at the bottom of the reflux column just here, there is another electrical input. That goes in, and then that goes to the mains electricity over here. And what I need to get is a collection vessel for what drips out of this. I'm going to use this glass jug. I'm ready to go. So I turn the power on at the wall. And then I'm going to press this in once, and then I'm going to press it in again until it goes green, like it has done. Let go. The fan will now kick in. And then the fan will turn off. And what's going to happen now is the drum here will heat up until it reaches a point where the alcohol within the liquid begins to evaporate. When that starts to happen, the fan kicks in to cool it down, and the evaporated liquid which cools will then fall into here, and I'll immediately get the 4 shots out. This is the stuff that you don't want, and then when that's full of 4 shots, the remainder will come and drip out here, and this is where I'll get heads and hearts, and hopefully not tails. So it quite literally is a case of playing the waiting game now. I've got nothing else to do. All I've got to do is wait for the Air Still to kick in. When it kicks in and it starts to extract, I'll come back to you. See you in a bit. And just an update from the Air Still. This drum is now getting up to temperature. You can hear it. It won't be long before the fan kicks in. Right, the fan's just kicked in and the 4 shots are now gathering in there. It's all exciting in the kitchen. So the 4 shots collection vessel is now full, and we have drippage coming out of there, and now it is simply a case of playing the waiting game. This is probably going to be 4 hours or so. I'll come back to you when it's done and we'll have a look at what we've got. Catch you then. The Air Still Pro falls silent, that's done. You've got the 4 shots there still, and this is the good stuff that's been outputted. Let's measure what's there. So that is exactly on 500 ml. That's 500 ml and it's on it. And that's just lifted off the bottom at that point. And there we go, and as predicted, it is on 90% alcohol by volume. So I'm just going to show you what happens with the 4 shots. So I need to get some blue roll underneath because it drips. And there's no collection tray, what I mean, it just drips all the way down the still, and it's petrol, so you don't want that. So there's the 4 shots, and they simply go in this bottle, and I just use this as firelighter. And then that goes back up here, and that's it. So I've got to let this cool down completely before I can open it and start taking the liquid out that's left in the drum and basically tipping that down the sink. I've extracted the alcohol, what's left is no good to me whatsoever. So you don't need to watch me do that. Tomorrow I'm going to repeat this process again, exactly the same with the other 5 bottles of awful wine that I've got. That should produce another 500 ml, so I should end up with a litre of 90% spirit. So when I've got my litre of 90% spirit, I'll come back to you for the next stage in the process. Okay? Catch you then. Hey folks, it's the next day. It's still day 2. And I've done the spirit run, so that was the first run through the air still. That's all of the wine gone through, all 10 bottles, and this is what I've got. And as predicted, I have got a litre, exactly. It's actually incredible that it's come out like that with exactly 1 litre. So once again, I'm just going to measure the alcohol by volume. I'm expecting it to be on 90. But let's see, that's just raised the alcometer, and in actual fact it looks like it's on 89% ABV, but close enough. So it's really evident that the output from the Air Still Pro is high quality and it's very, very consistent. So I'm going to pour all of this back into the drum of the Air Still Pro, and I'm going to add to it 2 litres of warm tap water. So that's going to go into the drum. I've now got 3 litres of warm liquid in there. I'm going to add the top onto the Air Still Pro with the column. I'm going to reconnect the electrics just like I did last time, so just bear with me a second. Collection jug at the ready. Right, and I'm going to switch it on just like I did before. So once for on, and then hold it until it goes green, let go. This is going to kick in again in a second, and I'm going to do a second run now, so it's a double distilled spirit. That's now gone off. Okay, so the first run was a stripping run. That stripped out the colour, the flavour, everything. It just left me with a base spirit. Okay, now I'm going to clean it up. Okay, again, this is now the spirit run, and this is what's going to leave me with essentially a vodka base, a 90% vodka base, and from that I'm going to dilute it and add my flavourings to make my whiskey. So the Air Still is going to do exactly the same now as what it did before. There's absolutely no need for you to watch it do that. So when this has done the spirit run, I will have 1 litre of 90% spirit in here, and when I've got that, we'll move on to the next step, and that will either be later tonight or it will be tomorrow on still day 3. So I'll catch you tonight or tomorrow. Depends how long this takes. Right, see you in a bit. Hey folks, I'm back with the base spirit that is going to form my whiskey. This is the 90% ABV spirit, and I've had it stood in my porch with this on top, allowing some of the vapours, some of the more unpleasant smells to escape a bit. And I think it's actually had something of an impact because it doesn't smell anywhere near as chemically as it did before. That sort of ethanol-y, methanol-y type smell that you get. Yeah, this is actually smelling quite vodka-ish. So what I'm going to do today is an additional step that I don't normally do, but I'm going to run it through a carbon filter. So here's the carbon filter. It's a Still Spirits one. It came with my original Air Still, and I barely ever use it. But I do know that people that do use it say that it makes a better and cleaner tasting spirit. So I'm just going to pour the spirit through there and let's see what happens. Right, In it goes gently. And I've got it all in, so that's good. I'll put the lid on top to keep any contaminants out. And it is now literally a case of playing the waiting game. I don't know how long this should take, but I think it's probably going to take a little while. And just to show you that the dripping has started after about 40 seconds. This is going to be a very long, slow process though, so I'm going to move this somewhere else and come back to you when it's done. Hey folks, it's the next day. Finally, I've managed to filter through the carbon all of the spirit, so let's have a look at that. So here it is. This is still at 90% or 89, whatever it was, but this has now been purified. And now it's been purified, I can start the process of mucking it up again, but this time with things which are going to flavour it. So I'm just going to have a quick sniff. It absolutely has lost a lot of that ethanolic, methanolic kind of chemically aroma. It really has. The carbon filter's done a cracking job. It actually smells like vodka, nothing else. So what I'm going to do today is add some oak chips into it. So these are my oak chips, French oak chips from Young's. You can use them in lots of different kinds of home brewing. What this will do is it will impart a little bit of an oaky taste, and it will also impart some colour into it. And I've just got a few left in this packet, and I'm going to add them all into it. I'm going to give those a little stir around. Now it may seem strange mucking this up once I've gone and cleaned it with the carbon filter. However, if I'd put the oak chips in before I cleaned it with the carbon filter, I'd never get it through the carbon filter. The microparticles would just keep clogging it, and I'd have to keep changing the filter, changing the filter, changing the filter. It would be a waste of time. So what I'm going to do now is leave this for about 5 days, and then I'm going to filter it twice to make sure that there's no bits and bobs in there, and then I'm going to add the flavourings, dilute it and bottle. Right, catch up with you in 5 days' time. Good afternoon from the kitchen, folks. Quite a bit later than anticipated. Let's have a look at it. So here it is on the oak chips in the jug, just like I left it. It's just been sat nicely, behaving itself. And today I'm going to filter it, complete the recipe and bottle it. Smells good. It's like a little bit of a caramelly smell actually. Strange, I wasn't expecting that. Slightly different. That twang, unfortunately, that air still smell that you get has come back. I thought it had gone when I'd filtered it through the carbon, but I can smell it again. It's not strong, but I know what I'm looking for smell-wise. My nose is trained. Somebody has commented on one of my films on YouTube to say that if I line the air still drum with thin copper, then it reduces the smell. Now I'm interested to try that. Has anybody else tried it? Because I am thinking about doing so. I'm just going to give this a little stir around. Muck it all up. It was nice and clear, but it doesn't matter. And what I'm going to do firstly is pour it in here without a filter paper, just to get the larger of the chips out. And this is just my coffee machine. It's perfect for this job. That's it. Get it all in there. So there's some oak chips left around there. They can just go down the sink. And this is going to come through cloudy, but I'm going to refilter it shortly. So it's gone through the filter. I've got it here in the jug again. Now, it's gone a bit cloudy, as you can see. But I'm now going to pour it through again using a filter paper, and this is going to take a lot longer. And what should come out in there will hopefully be nice and clear. Right, I'm going to shut that lid and I'm going to leave this. This will likely take a little while, as the filter paper will probably begin to clog. So I'll come back to you when I've got it all through. Right, this is a good 15 minutes later. Has it all gone through? I think it has. Okay, just put that up against there. You can see through that. You can see the garden through there. Yeah, that's nice and clear. So I'm going to get it back into my measuring jug now to see exactly how many mils I've got after that process. And that is absolutely bang on 700 ml. So I'm going to have one more dip test with the hydrometer just to doubly confirm what the ABV is. That's just lifted there. So the ABV has reduced ever so slightly, and that is on 88% ABV, which in all honesty is still pretty damn good. So I've got 700 ml at 88% ABV, and I need to dilute this to 40% ABV to stretch it out across both of the bottles that I want it to go into. So we need to look at the alcohol dilution calculator. So here's a dilution calculator. I've told it that before dilution I'm at 88% and I want it to be 40%. I've told it that I've got 0.7 litres, so it will now tell me how much liquid I need to add to dilute this. 0.7 litres of alcohol with 88% volume mixed with 0.84 litres of water produces 1.54 litres of alcohol with 40% ABV. So I need to add 0.84 litres of liquid. It says water there, but there can be anything else in it. So I'm going to add 0.84 litres, or just shy of, in here. This is spring water I'm adding, incidentally. I had it open, that's why I'm using spring water. Tap water would have worked. And that is pretty much bang on. So here's my Still Spirits Whiskey Flavouring. There's the sachet of flavouring. There's actually 2 of these in here, and it says that one of these will do 1.125 litres of 40% ABV alcohol. So that's kind of like just about 2 bottles. I might be undercutting it slightly, but I have already soaked it in oak chips, so I feel like I've done a little bit towards it anyway. So I'm going to try it with just 1 sachet, because I don't want to open both sachets and then it'd be overly strong. I'd rather save that and use it again. So get the top off and just get the sachet in with the water and give it a little stir around. Make sure it's mixed properly. I'm just sniffing that. That's incredible. That just smells like whiskey, and that's just water and the flavouring. That's amazing. I did not expect it to be that good. Wow. It smells like a blended whiskey, definitely. And it has got that sort of Jameson's-ness to it, that sort of Irish... Is there a slight peatiness, I think, in there, isn't there? Yeah, wow. Right, it's time to mix this with the spirit. I've got a couple of big jugs. Let's get this one into that one. Let the spirit meet the water and the flavouring. And we'll go back. And there we go, that's properly mixed. Now it's clouded ever so slightly, but that's probably the loushing effect. When you add spirit to water, sometimes that happens. It'll sort itself out shortly, hopefully. So smell-wise, the whiskey-ish smell has dissipated. There's a very, very slight whiff of that methanolic smell. Very slight. But the whiskey-ish smell isn't as strong as I'd expected it to be. I'm wondering whether to add some more or not. I think I maybe should just try a little sample nifter. What do you think? Just a sample. It is for research purposes after all. So I've just got a very small amount in there. And it's cleared up nicely. No, it doesn't taste whiskey enough to me. I'm going to add the other sachet. It tasted more like vodka-y or tequila-y, in all honesty. So here's the other sachet. There's only a tiny amount in there. I might have reduced the ABV by 8% or even probably a fraction of a percent, to be honest. I'm not worried. Right, so let's give that another stir. It's very warming going down. It definitely needs a bit of glycerin when I bottle it. Still not a huge whiskey smell, although it is definitely more of a whiskey smell than it was last time. Now it tastes like whiskey. I'm going to level with you. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It tastes like cheap whiskey. It doesn't taste like, whoa, this is top shelf stuff. It tastes like, give that cheap whiskey to uncle. That sort of whiskey. I think with a mixer it'd be fine. I mean, also bear in mind, I don't really drink spirits neat ever, you know. But I think with a mixer like some Coke, it would be okay. It's not unpleasant. It is fairly whiskey-ish, but it just doesn't taste like cracking whiskey. Right, I think I need to get this bottled. So appropriately, I'll start with a whiskey bottle proper. I forgot which one it is, this. Somebody tell me in the comments. Oh, I'm not far off. That's not a bad job. And just to note the loushing effect with agitation, look, it's very clear at the bottom, but it's misty at the top. That will all clear up once it's settled down. So next I need to add vegetable glycerin, and I would usually add 3 ml per bottle, but I'm running very low and my syringe actually doesn't reach the bottom of the bottle, so I'm just going to do it visually, what I think 3 ml looks like. And I could be wildly inaccurate, and if I am, then so be it. So the vegetable glycerin just smooths it a little bit. Sometimes you get a bit of a burning sort of sensation with the spirits produced in the air still, and that just rounds the edges off. So what I'm going to do now is simply put the bungs in the top. Now I need to make some labels. Right, I've got this Fomemo Bluetooth printer. I've got it connected to my phone using a program called Printmaster, and I'm just going to print off 2 labels right now. Oh, this is the supposed easy bit. Getting the labels on straight. Challenging for me sometimes. And there we go. So I just want to point something out to you. Look at the spelling of whiskey on the label. W-H-I-S-K-E-Y. There's an E in the whiskey because it's based on an Irish whiskey syrup from Still Spirits. The Scottish don't put an E in the whiskey, it's W-H-I-S-K-Y. Some little whiskey facts for you there. Right, it's only Monday, I'm not drinking till the weekend, so I'll catch you in a few days' time for the grand opening and tasting. Catch you then. Good evening from the kitchen, folks. It's the grand opening and tasting night for my whiskey. Now, it was only the other day that you saw it. This is only 4 days later, but let's see what I think of it tonight. So I'm going to take the bung out and have an initial whiff. And yeah, it's still got that tinge of heads from the air still. Now, someone's advised me on YouTube that the next time I do a reflux run, separate the first 200 ml, keep that, put it back in the still at a later date, and it will get rid of that smell. That's what I've been advised. I'm going to try it next time, so you'll see. So first of all, I'm going to pour a little bit into my Bruegel glass. Give it a little stir around. Hold it with the hand like you see them do on telly. You know, the people that know what they're doing. The heat of your hand apparently helps the vapours come out, or some nonsense. It's not really nonsense. Right. Okay, now I'm getting a better, more rounded smell actually by doing that, but there is still that tinge of air stillness. But yeah, it's a whiskey smell. I can't say it isn't. It is a whiskey smell. I mean, if you'd given it me blind and said, what does that smell like? I would have said whiskey. Now let's have a little taste. Yeah, it's really got that cheap whiskey taste, like something like High Commissioner or something like that. Something that's not right cracking. Okay, so what I'm going to do is add a bit of Coke into the mix and see what I think of it then. So my wife's bought the blandest Coke in the world. Not only is it caffeine free, it's also sugar free. Wonderful. Right, let's try some bland Coke. I'm not a neat spirits drinker anyway, as I've said before. It smells more palatable. Actually all right. With a bit of Coke in it, it disguises the methanolic quality in there. Smell's gone. Tastes all right actually, it just tastes like a cheapish whiskey and Coke. I could drink that. Yeah, it definitely tastes like a whiskey and Coke. It doesn't taste like the best whiskey in the world, I'm going to be completely honest, but it tastes all right. It's doable, it's definitely drinkable, and it's not even one of those ones where, oh go on, I've got nothing else left, I'd have to drink that. It ain't that bad, so that's a good sign. Yeah, I can do that. It's a picture for the front cover of the film. So it's been a journey and a learning experience. I started with terrible homebrew wine. I've come out with not brilliant tasting whiskey, but it's not awful either. It just tastes a bit cheap. So I hope you've enjoyed the film. Please leave me a like. You can leave comments, subscribe to my channel, all the things that help it grow. I really appreciate it. I'd like to sign off by saying one more time, thank you very much to brewathome.shop for the continued loan of their Still Pro. It's really very appreciated. Thank you very much. And I will catch you all on the next film, whatever that may be. See you later, kids. The film that you've just watched is a Moss Home and Garden production. You can find more by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. I'd just like to say thank you very much for supporting my YouTube channel and for watching my films. It really is very much appreciated. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel in order to receive future updates about the home and garden films which I upload. You can find my YouTube channel by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. Please click on the red subscribe button. When you've done that, a little bell will appear. If you press that also, then you'll get future updates about the films which I upload. If you like my films, if you like my style of filming, then you might also like my travel channel, which you will find by going to youtube.com/Stuart Moss or type in www.mosstravel.tv. Again, if you could subscribe to that channel, it would be hugely appreciated. If you'd like to get Moss Home and Garden updates on Facebook, then please open Facebook and do a search for Moss Home and Garden, and you will find the page. If you like the page, then you will get future updates on there. And if you'd like to connect on Instagram for home, garden and travel photography, as well as some stories, then my username is Stu Moss, STUMOSS. If you'd like to connect on Twitter, then my username is @StuartMoss. And if you'd like to contact me about film usage or any other issue, please just email me on stewmosshomegarden@gmail.com. Once again, thank you very much for supporting my channel, for watching my films. I do appreciate it. I'd just like you all to have a great day.